Welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration. Glad you could join me here today as always. It's a beautiful summer day in St. Louis, Missouri today. The sun is shining, the birds are singing, and today's topic is going to be fighting, protecting yourself. I'm doing this topic because actually yesterday I did a video on this. Somehow I hit the slow-mo button and I couldn't get it to load, and it was a disaster. Well, no, it wasn't a disaster. If I was supposed to air that video, I would have aired it. But for some reason, I couldn't seem to get it edited and formatted to present it to you. So I'm doing another one today. The reason I chose fighting today is because Rich Cooper was talking to someone. I'm guessing it was an MMA fighter or UFC fighter, and asking him what percentage of people were able to protect themselves or fight. And the other guy said probably less than 10%. I probably agree with that because few people know how to protect themselves nowadays. Back in the old days, my time, or before my time actually, thousands of years, men had to actually fight. They didn't have the police. They didn't have people to protect them. What about the settlers that came here to the United States? If you're living in the United States, they had to protect themselves from the Indians and robbers and whoever else come roaming along when they lived out in the cabin on the prairie. There were no police on the prairie. So what were they going to do? They either had to shoot them, fight them, stab them, kill them. Yes, I know for some of you that may sound pretty crude in today's modern society, but how many murders and muggings and killings and rapes and whatever else we have that goes on every day in our world? Now, I'm not saying you should go around being afraid of these things, but there's a certain amount of confidence that comes from knowing that you can protect yourself in these situations should something arise. When you're walking down the street with your woman and your children, and let's say some obnoxious beggar or crackhead or meth head or someone comes up to you and starts harassing you and your family. There may not be a policeman around to protect you. People don't realize how important the police are here in the U.S. because many of you have never lived outside of this country, nor ventured outside of the country other than in the tourist areas where there are many police. They protect those areas in places like Colombia and Mexico because of the tourism, and that brings in a lot of money to their country. Okay, if you get out beyond the tourist areas, it is very dangerous in other third world countries. I have lived there. I know I've been in these places. So you better know how to protect yourself. But back to the U.S. here, it's so safe, even though we have a lot of crime and murders in the U.S., compared to other countries, it is so safe here. I've been out of the country over 30 times. I've lived in a foreign country for over 6 years. And every time I fly back into the U.S. from certain parts of the world, there's almost a feeling of relief. The safety and the cleanliness when you fly into the airport. Now, I know there are certain cities, parts of cities that you don't want to go to at night or even during the day. But the point is the U.S. compared to many places in the world is very safe. And the police will come pretty dang quick. As in other countries, the police may never come if you call them. In some countries, they don't have enough police. When I lived in Central America, the country I lived in down there, I was friends with the director of the police for the whole country. They had 20,000 policemen. They needed 40,000. So you can imagine what it's like down there. They still have lynchings down there. Now what that is they will, if they catch someone stealing, they will chase them down, beat the hell out of them, and then after they do that, they pour gas on them and burn them. This is for stealing. This is what it's like in other parts of the world. So you don't realize how safe it is here and how safe the police and the government keeps things here for you. But There still may be times here in the U.S. when you need to protect yourself and your family. For example, if a criminal, robber, a mugger breaks into your house at night, what are you going to do? If you don't have a gun, you're going to have to protect your wife and your family. This equal partnership of men and women is kind of a joke, really. So let's say the criminal breaks into your house at night. What are you going to say to your wife? Well, honey, I went down last month when we heard a noise. It's your turn to go this time because we're equal partners here. I don't think so. You as the man are expected to go down and take care of that, whatever that need be. And that may need that you put your life on the line. I have done that before. In a foreign country, more than once, I've had to put myself between the mugger and my wife and my kids. And it turned into a physical deal, and I was able to handle that. I was an amateur and professional boxer for years. Before that, I was a street fighter. I thought I was a tough guy when I was a street fighter, but I didn't realize what a tough guy I was until I got into the ring with people who really knew how to fight. When I first started boxing, these guys would knock me down. Well, not when I first went to St. Louis. I started in a small town, so it wasn't quite as bad there. But when I went to St. Louis, where I actually started working out with guys who were world champions, some of them were ranked in the top 10 in the world as professional and amateurs. These guys used to knock me down every night. I thought I was a pretty good boxer before I went there. But anyway, the point being is I learned how to be a fighter. I learned what it was like to get hit so hard that you're really kind of out on your feet, but you can still fight. I've learned what it was to have the wind knocked out of you and to be able to keep fighting. These guys taught me this. So when an occasion happened where I had to protect my wife and my kids physically, it was an automatic response. I was able to do it with ease. I didn't have to think about it. And now this gives you a certain amount of confidence in any situation. This confidence that you learn or that you have from fighting, from learning how to fight, spills over into other areas of your life. I'm not afraid to go places. I may feel fear, but I confront the fear and I go. And I know that if something comes up, I can protect myself. Now, in all situations, that doesn't always work. One time when I was in Guatemala, a car pulled up in front of us. 4 guys jumped out, and the one guy got the gun on me before I even had a chance to do anything. Now, you're not going to fight in that situation. So I had 3 guns. I think the driver stayed in the car. I'm not sure. But I had one guy right next to me had a gun to my chest. One guy over on the other side of the car had the gun pointed at me across the top of the car. And then there was a third guy that had a gun on the guy that was with me. Now, you're going to be a fool if you try to fight in that situation. Okay, so I just gave them my stuff. But still, I didn't give them my passport, and I did not give them my billfold, I think. I gave them the money I had in my pocket. But these guys were really nervous. Their hands were shaking. But it happened so quickly, I really wasn't afraid. I didn't have time to be nervous. So, but then again, I have been in life-threatening situations before, so I wasn't shaken when this happened. And you get to this point by training yourself to fight, training yourself to know how to survive in dangerous situations so you don't freak out. And that's the kind of man you need to be, and that's the kind of man women are attracted to. A strong man who doesn't fall apart in a crisis situation, no matter what it is. Okay, and you can get there by learning how to fight. That's one of the things that will get you to that point. It builds character, it builds inner strength. It just makes you feel like more of a man. Now, us humans have been warring individuals for hundreds of thousands of years. Yeah, sure, I believe in love. Love is a powerful thing. But we have not evolved as a race to the point where we can all just love each other. We still have a lot of violent people out there. I believe one day we will get there, and I believe it's up to each and every one of us We will never have peace in the world until we have peace within ourselves. And until then, as a man, you will have much more confidence in life in everything you do if you know that the situation arises, you can protect yourself. You can fight. Now, a lot of times, being able to fight has kept me out of a lot of fights because some of the local tough guys when I was younger wouldn't bother me, or they would not say anything to me, or they just stayed away from me because they knew I could fight. And there's also an air of confidence that you put off, an aura of, I don't know how to say it, of confidence or sureness that comes off of you when you have the knowing or the feeling that you can handle any situation. Now, that's not to say that you can't be whipped. There's a lot of guys out there that can whip me, but I can honestly say that few men in their 20s out there can take me, and I'll be 61 in a few days because I'm in shape. I still spar with my sons, and saying that is really not a big deal because our society is so filled with snowflakes these days. We don't have a lot of, people aren't growing up as rugged as they were when I was a kid. And even before I was born, the men were growing up in a lot tougher situations. So our country has become somewhat soft because we are we have such an abundance here. When I look around in my area here in the Midwest, I don't know what our obesity rate is, but it's really high. It's one of the highest obesity rate states in the nation. And I see it when I look around here. I'd say less than 5% of the people here are in shape, in really good shape. Could get down and do, let's say, 50 push-ups. I don't know if I could do 50 push-ups. I hate push-ups. Let's say 25 push-ups or 100 sit-ups or run a mile. I can do all those things, okay, right now. I don't run every day now, but I stay in shape. I could probably run 2 to 3 miles, maybe more, but it would be kind of tough because I don't run every day like I used to. I do lift weights. I do punch on the bag. As I said, I spar with my sons occasionally. I stay in shape, and my job is very physical, so I get a really good workout when I'm working. All these things keep you in shape. It's ironic that we have to go to the gym to work out now because we've made everything so easy that if we don't go to the gym, our bodies fall apart. We're physical, emotional, spiritual beings, and we need to take care of all those aspects of our lives. This body is the only body you're going to have, and you're going to be living in it for the rest of your life. It's amazing how some people take better care of their car. Many people, if not most, take better care of their cars than they do of their body. Now think about that. I see them at the car wash all the time. They go through the automatic car wash and are out there vacuuming it out. Most of the people there are out of shape, overweight, but their cars look great. But yet they have a body which is a magnificent, I don't want to call it a machine, but it's just amazing what your body does. But yet we take it for granted because it was given to us. We didn't have to work for it, but we had to work for that car, so we're taking care of that. But all these things are important. You as a man need to be a strong man, not just physically to be able to fight, but by learning how to fight, you become internally strong. And if you're wanting a good woman, they are attracted to internal strength, character, integrity. So be that man. That's all I got time for today. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow.